Hi, very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about team dynamics at work, which is HR 301 is a part of your MBA third semester HR specialization syllabus. We'll be discussing today about the effective team. What is an effective team? What are the principles or the characteristics of an effective team? How to build an effective team? How to become a very good team member of an effective team? What is an Apollo syndrome, and what is an Apollo team, why the Apollo team fails, and what are the characteristics of a successful Apollo team. So these are the things we are going to discuss today. But however, we'll be starting with the importance of teamwork with an age-old story of the hare and the tortoise. The age-old story, if you can remember, that the hare and tortoise have gone for a race, and the hare was overconfident that he is the fastest, that he is going to win the race. And that's why, because of his overconfident nature, he took a nap in between, and the tortoise slowly but steadily won the race. So what was the moral of the story? The moral of the story was slow and steady wins the race. But the story does not end here. Now the hare is thinking that why I have lost the match, why I have lost the race, I could have won, I am the fastest. So then he again approached tortoise for another race, and this time he ensured he did not took a nap, and he continued running and ultimately won the race. So what is the moral of the story? Moral of the story is the fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. So if you are slow and steady, but your competitor is fast and consistent, rest assured they are going to beat you. So in a tough competitive corporate world, you have to be fast and consistent. Right? It is good to be slow and steady, but it is always better to be fast and consistent. But the story does not end here. Now the tortoise is thinking how I can win the race. So the tortoise have developed another strategy and approach here to go on for another race, but in a different route. Now there is a river in between. So this time also here did not took any nap, but after reaching that river, he could not cross the river. The tortoise slowly and steadily came across the river and on the rest. So what is the moral of the story? Identify your core competency and change your playing field accordingly. Okay, so if you are good at communication skill, identify the opportunities in the organization where you can utilize your skills of communication skills to showcase that. If you are good at presentation skill, identify the opportunities where you can showcase your presentation skill in front of your team leaders, if you're in front of your management, so that will help you to move up in the corporate hierarchy, right? So that is the concept. But now they have understood, both the hare and the tortoise have realized that they could have done something else. So now what they have done, they have gone for another race, but in a different way, but in the same route where there is a river. Now the hare actually carry the tortoise up to the river, and then the tortoise carry the hare and cross the river. So both of them have reached the target together. So that is the fundamental concept of the teamwork. If you're working together, if you're utilizing both of your, each and every team member's potentiality, you can achieve much more result than an individual, right? So that is the fundamental concept of teamwork. So today we are going to discuss the principles of an effective team with an examples of some philosophy that is actually being adopted by different companies, especially by IBM. So we are going to discuss about the effective, what is an effective team, and what are the principles of an effective team. So how to develop an effective team, what are the characteristics of an effective team. So these are the things we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. So what is an effective team? So effective teams operate in an environment in which there is a two-way trust and in an environment of open and honest communication. So what we have understood, there are two concepts. Number one is an environment in which there is a two-way trust. The team leader should trust the team member, and the team member should trust the team leader. Okay, so two-way trust should be there. And in an environment of open and honest communication. So you should be in a position that we are in an honest communication environment. Whatever I'm going to talk, that is going to be respected. That is not going to be criticized publicly. That is not going to be criticized within the team, outside the team. Whatever my opinion is, I'm free to express, and that is going to be respected. Right? So that is the thing. So that is called the honest and the open communication, and the two-way trust must be there. So that is the one of the fundamental concept of an effective team. Next one is the feedback on performance. That's very important. So feedback on the performance should be two-way and constant. Two-way means, I mean, the team leader will be giving feedback to the individual team member. Team member have the right to discuss about the performance of the team leader and the other team member as well. So that is the reason that the feedback of performance should be two-way and constant. And it should provide information to all the members of the team on how their work support the specific and the overall effort of the team and the practices. That is very important. That is, each and every individual team member has the right to know how their effort performance is affecting the overall team performance. The big picture, everybody has the right to know. Maybe say, for example, one of the team member job responsibility is just entering the data. He is working or she is working as a data entry operator, entering the data in the Excel sheet or any software. But he or she has the right to know what is his output, what the job he is doing or she is doing, what is the output of that, what is the big picture. So you need to show that, yes, because of this job, this is the next level job, and that is the ultimate outcome of your job. So if you're telling that, automatically what will happen, they will be much more engaged. So employee engagement would be ensured. They will be much more motivated. Automatically their productivity level will be increased. Next one is the listening is a feature of that communication. So it's very important. You need to listen to communicate effectively. You need to listen to your team member, you listen to your colleague, listen to your team leader, everybody. So understand what they are trying to say and communicate accordingly. So that's very important. Next one is the accept the responsibility. This is very important. That is, the team should accept the responsibility and not blame one another for the team mistake, and nor should they spend useless time in personal justification. There may be failure. All the time a team cannot win, but ultimately you need to take that as a team. You need to take the responsibility. Don't waste your time in blaming each other. That is not going to help you out in overcoming the problem. Rather, that will creating more problem. Right? So don't waste your time in blaming each other. Rather, take the responsibility of the consequences as a team and act accordingly. Prideful humility, that is very important thing, that they celebrate their success together, just as they identify the special performance and the contribution of the each individual. As a team, you have own, so you should celebrate together. Maybe some of the individual may perform poorly. That does not mean you are going to tell that you have performed poorly, you have no contribution in your success, so you should not be a part of our celebration. No, because you should celebrate together, because as a team you have won. Okay, but of course you have to identify the team members contribution individually. That is the, say for example, take an example of the cricket match. As a team we are winning the match, right? But there is of course a person who is the man of the match, so we are identifying the best performance individually as well. So we are identifying the person with the most wicket takers, we are identifying the person with the most run scorer, we are identifying the person who has taken the most of the catches. That's it. So individual performance, performance is also being recognized, but that does not mean we are not celebrating together. If there may be a bad day for an individual, the person who is to we are expecting that batsman to score 100, he scored 0, but at the end of the day the team has won the match, so he is also a part of it. So that you need to understand. Okay, so good teamwork is based on the prideful humility, pride in the outcome of the team, and the humility that assumes that the other team members may well have a level of expertise that can add value to the outcome. Take another examples of the same cricket match. One of the bowler who is very expensive throughout the match. Okay, he had not taken any wicket, but in the last over there is only 1 ball and 2 runs that is required, and that particular bowler have bowled a dot ball, and ultimately your team have won the match. Though that bowler has very much expensive throughout the match and did not take any wicket, but ultimately because of this dot ball you have won the match. So that you need to understand the potentiality. Somebody have maybe failed in the particular assignment in a particular team, but you need to understand that particular team member have that the kind of potentiality. So that is the concept of the prideful humility. Next one, mistakes as opportunities. Good team look upon the first time mistake as the opportunities for learning rather than criticism and punishment. At the beginning, if it is a fresh team member, new team member, maybe they may be doing some mistake, but that is an opportunity for learning. Don't go for any punishment, don't go for any criticism. Allow them to do some mistakes and learn from that mistakes. But of course, if the mistakes are repetitive in nature, you have to be tough, and just there to encourage the appropriate risk and the innovation. So that's very important. So mistakes and opportunities, at least at the beginning. So honor the contribution of others, that we have already discussed, that good teams honor the contribution of each team member, makes the total work of the team. So if, say for example, if you are having a secretary who is very good in word processing and a receptionist who is very good in customer interaction, so both the team members are having different responsibilities. Both of them are doing their own job. So each one of them is contributing in the job. So honor the contribution of others, each and every one. Okay. So everybody should feel proud to be associated with team. Whatever the job they are doing, they should feel proud. So that's why their motivation level will be increased, their engagement level will be increased, automatically their productivity level will be increased. Okay, so that's the concept of your honor the contribution of others. Now we are going to discuss about how to create an effective team. One of the technique is the stand-up meeting. That is a very important technique. That is a short meetings held at the beginning or the end of the day. They're meant to be very short. That is less than 15 minutes, and go around the table, just simple stand up and just ask simple question like what are you doing, and what do you plan to accomplish today? Is there any something preventing you to from getting your task done? So if you have any issue, so if the team members know is the all the team members are there, if you're having a problem, I'll be discussing that. They will be helping us or helping me, rather than pulling my leg and just ridicule me in front of the public that even you don't know these things. Okay, rather if the environment is that yes, if I can raise my issue, raise my problem, somebody would be there to solve my problem, and everybody will be helping me out to solve the problem, right? So that's the idea. But definitely the stand-up meeting is not, number one, a status meeting for the boss. I mean, it is a status meeting for the boss. Boss will be coming, and whatever the boss will be telling, and everybody will be listening, and the people will be, other team member will be scared to talk because the boss is there. That means this meeting is not going to be effective, because this is not a stand-up meeting. It is not a complaint session. Everybody will be coming and blaming each other and complaining. It is not a stand-up meeting. Which hand and identify somebody and blame, give all the blame to them, that particular person. Okay, so everybody will be playing safe by blaming a particular person. So that is called witch hunt. So definitely this particular the meeting is not going to be effective, right? So and meant to go beyond 15 minutes. So usually try to restrict this kind of meetings within 15 minutes, because otherwise again it would be another kind of boring meeting, ineffective meeting. So try to fix it within 15 minutes. That is going to help you out, right? Next is how to become an effective team member. That is very important. So we have till now we have studied what are the characteristics of effective team. Now, if you are individually, if you want to be a successful team member, what are the characteristics you individually should have? Okay. So number one is the communicate. So that's very important. No communication is a bad communication. So you need to communicate effectively. And if you have any problem, tell that. If you have any issues, tell that. If you are facing some issues, tell that. So that is called communicate. Don't blame others. In a team, you can, everybody is, can understand who is not doing well. So if you are, individually pointing out to somebody that particular person is not doing well, everybody is not a fool. Everybody can understand that if you are pointing the finger in front of others, so you are making yourself fool, right? Everybody can understand. So you don't need to identify a particular person in the meeting, right? Support. You need also support. All the time you cannot be you cannot know everything. Similarly the other person can also know everything. So each and every one, that is why there is the teamwork. Each and everyone need the help of each other. So that's why support. If you support, the other people will also support you. Listen actively, nod, acknowledge, paraphrase. That is very important. The communication is very important. That's listening. Active listening is important. And then get involved. Get involved into the problem. Don't just bypass the issues. Get involved into the problems and try to solve the problem with the team. So that is important. So that is the way that how you can become an effective team member. And how to form a great team, that we have already discussed. These are the principles you need to follow. Along with that, if you have very good leadership, if you had the smart people and you use the lots of training, definitely you can form a very good team. Now we are coming to another most important concept that we are going to discuss, that is called Apollo syndrome. Now what is Apollo syndrome? That is when the sum of part is less than the whole. What does it mean? That means where the team of highly capable individual can collectively perform badly. That means you have identified the best individual with high capability and form a great team. But these highly capable individuals are actually perform poorly when they are working as a team. This problem is called the Apollo syndrome. And this concept was discovered by Dr. Meredith Belbin. So what he has done, Belbin actually criteria for selecting his team was based on the ability and the aptitude test and identifying the people with a high analytical skill. The initial perception was this team is going to be the best, but at the end of the day they found they finished 8th from 18. There are total 8 team and they finished last, right? So what is the reason? Reason is they spend excessive time in abortive and destructive debate, trying to persuade other team members to adopt their own view and demonstrating a flair of spotting weakness in others' argument. I am the best. I am having this kind of qualification. I am having this kind of experience. So whatever I am telling, you have to accept it. And everybody is telling that. Everybody is telling that. That means we are wasting our time in forecasting or showing I am the best in the team rather than understanding, analyzing my competitor. So we are trying to identify the weakness in my team members rather than to identify the weakness in the other team's team member, right? So that is a mistake they are doing. They have done. So they had difficulties in decision making because they are not having any coherence, because everybody thinks my decision is the perfect. Why I'm going to listen to others? Team members, tend to act along with their own favorite lines without taking into account what the other fellow members think. My point is right because I am having this kind of experience, I am having this kind of qualification. So in some instances, team recognize that what is happening, but are overcompensated. They are ignoring it. So ultimately, that is not going to be helpful. So that is the reason this Apollo team fails. But this Apollo team can also be successful. So how the absence of highly highly dominating personalities and a very particular style of leadership, if you are avoiding that, definitely as a Apollo team can also be successful. But how you can create an effective team? Number one, clarify the collective goal. Why you are joining this team? What is the objective of the group? Clarify it. Identify the inhibitor that prevent them from reaching their goals and remove them. Identify the inhibitors and remove them drastically. Next one, put the enablers to assist them. There must be some enablers that is going to help them out to reach their goal. Include that. In a point, we have discussed that we need to give feedback, right? That is a criteria of effective team. So that is the reason you have to measure and monitor the progress to ensure the goals to be achieved. So these are the principles. So the team formation, how we can form the team, as the picture that shows, if you want to be this kind of having this kind of teamwork, like in the sky jumping, it takes time. It is not a one-day game, right? It is not a one-day game. So team formation takes time and usually follows some easily recognizable stages. As the team journeys from being a group of strangers to becoming united team with a common goal. So these stages we are going to discuss in details in our next session. Till then, let us call it a day. So if you have any questions, you can always raise the questions in our forum, and we'll be getting back shortly with some more content on this topic shortly. So thank you so much for attending